This is Michael, your host for today's edition of round number one right here on YouTube. Before we get into SmackDown from this past Friday, I need to address something that's been simmering for almost a year. WWE has spent 11 months sanitizing their own product, only to suddenly pretend they're edgy again because WrestleMania 42 ticket sales are struggling. And the timing couldn't be more obvious. The moment they need to move seats, Raw and SmackDown suddenly start borrowing Attitude Era energy, but only in tiny, controlled bursts. This isn't a creative shift, it's a marketing tactic. It's WWE trying to look edgy without actually being edgy. Cody Rhodes even reminded Stephanie McMahon and the entire audience that things Randy Orton did 10 years ago can't be shown today. He said the Attitude Era was 30 years ago and WWE moved past it. And I'm sitting here thinking, bro, you're saying this on Netflix. Netflix, a platform that literally shows anything the Motion Picture Association approves. A platform that last Saturday aired a boxing card that had major sponsors on the canvas, a Saudi executive who is aligned with TKO that's worth $2.8 billion backing the event, 4 hours of uncensored, unfiltered adult content, 0 camera cuts, 0 muting, 0 protect the brand edits. If you watch that event or any Netflix live event, you already know the censorship, the muting, the camera cuts, the next day editing, that's WWE, not Netflix. Now, this week's SmackDown did loosen up. We got mature language, a little more bite, a little more realism. But even then, they were scrambling to block shots of Pat McAfee flipping off the crowd because they had a special announcement to protect. And that announcement, a 25% discount on WrestleMania Saturday tickets, courtesy of Ram Trucks. This offer runs to the end of Raw tonight, April 14th. Let's be real. Discounts this close to WrestleMania tell you everything. Unfortunately, both nights of WrestleMania 42 are tracking around 40,000 fans each, far below recent years. Don Tony has been saying for weeks that this will be the lowest selling WrestleMania in history, but also the most profitable because of TKO's business model. And he's right about the profit part, but inside WWE and TKO, there's pressure, real pressure, because profits don't fill seats and optics matter. And I'll say this again because I said it last year, moving WrestleMania 42 out of New Orleans was a mistake. Vegas is in recalibration mode right now. It's a financially safe move for WWE and TKO, sure, but New Orleans would have been magical. WrestleMania brings over $200 million in economic impact to host cities. New Orleans is dealing with a municipal fiscal crisis, and it needed that boost. And honestly, if WrestleMania 42 were in New Orleans, it would have been a guaranteed sellout months ago. Instead, we're watching WWE try to artificially pump excitement into the product by pretending they're edgy again, not because the creative direction changed, but because the ticket sales did. All right, now that we have addressed the elephant in the room, let's shift gears and talk about the parts of SmackDown that actually hit. These were the moments that stood out for the right reasons and made the show feel alive again. Number 1, Pat McAfee and Cody Rhodes, the segment that set the tone. For me, the McAfee-Cody segment was the heartbeat of the entire show. McAfee flipping off the crowd, intentional or not, instantly told you this episode was going to feel different. Cody coming out right after, feeding off that energy, grounding the moment, and still keeping the WrestleMania story moving. That's the kind of synergy WWE wishes they could manufacture on command. This segment worked because it didn't feel overproduced. It felt like two guys reacting to the moment instead of reading from a script. This is the version of WWE of the WWE that fans have been begging for. And let me add this. I was on Reddit yesterday and I saw a comment I knew I had to bring up when I recorded the show. Somebody said Pat McAfee is cutting better promos on CM Punk than Roman Reigns is. I took a minute to sit with that, and like Jericho says, just soak it all in, man. I'm gonna go on record today and say this. WWE made a mistake pairing CM Punk with Reigns at WrestleMania 42. They should have gone with Punk versus Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship. And honestly, I think WWE realizes that too. Here's my prediction, and I'm planting my flag on this one. After WrestleMania, we're getting Punk versus Orton as a full feud. McAfee will be involved because he's already stirring the pot. With Raw Superstars appearing on SmackDown this Friday, Punk's focus won't be on Reigns. It'll be on McAfee running his mouth. Punk will make it clear on Raw that he's fed up with McAfee's shots, and with McAfee hyping night one of WrestleMania as the more important night because of the 25% ticket discount. Here's how I see it play out. Night one, Punk gets involved in Rhodes versus Orton. Night two, McAfee and Orton get involved in Punk versus Reigns. And when we reach Backlash, it'll be Punk versus Orton for a championship. That's my prediction, and I'm sticking to it. In my private conversations this week, the message was blunt. The Pat McAfee Jelly Roll celebrity cameo era feels desperate. Nobody I spoke with is tuning in to hear McAfee talk, and nobody's buying the Roman Reigns versus CM Punk build. The reaction was the same across the board. It's not good. Reigns isn't on TV enough to make the feud feel real. Punk is cutting promos with no one to bounce off, and the whole thing lacks the weekly tension a WrestleMania main event needs. Now, what surprised me was how many people said they want Vince McMahon back and want Triple H out as the chief content officer. Not because Vince is perfect, but because they believe he still has the pedigree, the leverage, and the financial stake in TKO to push back against Ari Emanuel. Meanwhile, the publicly released text from the shareholder lawsuit paint Triple H as somebody with no relationship with Ari and a strained one with Vince. That doesn't inspire confidence. One family member even pointed out Vince's interview with Harvey Levin of TMZ. This was during the Hogan documentary released last year after Hogan's, a couple of months after Hogan's, a couple months after Hogan's passing. So there was a moment in that documentary where Vince admitted he wasn't invited to the Hulk Hogan tribute shows on Raw and SmackDown. And you could see the disappointment. To them, that moment symbolized how far this company has drifted from the identity that built it. So that's the temperature of the room from the people I spoke with this week. If you want me to go even deeper into what they're saying behind the scenes, I can. Now, a quick word on Jade Cargill. I want to talk about Jade Cargill for a moment because the negativity around her online is ridiculous. Jade performs incredibly well. She's safe. She's controlled. She doesn't put her opponents in danger. I don't understand the cloud of hate certain corners of the internet wrestling community insist on hovering over her. I'll give my full WrestleMania predictions in the next recording this week, but I'll tell you this right now. Jade is winning at WrestleMania. And to the fan who accused her of using PEDs, that's foolish. If there's one thing WWE does not want, it's another tragedy like Eddie Guerrero, who passed away due to an enlarged heart. The average human heart weighs about a pound or a little less than a pound. PED abuse makes it grow. WWE tests regularly. If Jade were using, she would be caught. What people don't realize is that Jade has been around major money since she was a teenager. And she's a real athlete, a legitimate one, long before wrestling. It makes total sense why she's able to build that physique, have a child, and come back even more sculpted. And her match with Io last week, it was fine. I don't understand the Jade hate, and I never will. Okay, let's get back on track. Number 2, Royce Key's debut, a star making first impression. Royce Keys came out looking like somebody who already belongs on the roster. And I've said this before on previous podcasts. I've been watching AEW from the beginning. I've been watching it since CM Punk left. What I can tell you is you might, like, as a wrestling fan, we we'll watch other promotions and we'll see certain wrestlers, and for some reason they give off that WWE energy, even though they're what you're watching is not WWE, but they just give off that WWE energy. And Jade was one of those people in AEW who gave off that WWE energy. Powerhouse Hobbs is one of those people in AEW that gave off that WWE energy, and there's a couple other people who are currently in AEW who give off that WWE energy, but I don't think we'll ever be able to see that energy within the WWE. But his presentation was clean. His confidence was real, and the crowd didn't treat him like a rookie. They treated him like somebody worth watching. What I love the most is that WWE didn't overthink it. There was no goofy gimmick attached to him. There was no comedy spot during the match. There was no forced look at me moment. They just let him be himself, and he delivered. And if WWE is smart, they'll keep it simple. Let him wrestle. Let him talk. Let him build momentum. This was one of the most promising debuts they've had in a long time. And I'll say it now. He's winning the Andre the Battle. He's winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal this Friday on SmackDown. Okay, number 3. Danhausen versus Kit Wilson. Comedy wrestling done right. This match was exactly what it needed to be. Fun, weird, and surprisingly sharp. Danhausen is a character who can easily be misused. But WWE actually let him be Danhausen. The timing, the facial expressions, the crowd engagement, everything clicked. And Kit Wilson deserves credit too. He played the perfect straight man, selling the absurdity without turning the match into a joke. This wasn't a bathroom break comedy match. It was a tight, entertaining, and added a different flavor to the show without derailing the pacing. This is how you use Danhausen. Short bursts, high charm, maximum reaction. Those were the three moments that stood out for me, the parts of SmackDown that actually felt alive, felt fresh, and felt like WWE trying to move forward instead of recycling the same corporate formula. All right, let's change direction and move straight into the rest of the rest of the wrestling news of this week so far. La Catalina, formerly known as Katrina Cortez, has officially exited CMLL as of April 1st, 2026, and the move to AAA became a reality on Saturday night. Catalina, who is a former WWE NXT talent, she knows how to operate inside a major system. So she debuted on AAA's live Fox broadcast during the opening segment. Lady Flamer and her Las Toxicas were celebrating Flamer's 968 plus day reign as Reina de Reinas champion when Catalina interrupted, reminded everyone that Flamer has never beaten her. She laid them out and made her intentions clear. She wants the championship. AAA later announced that Catalina will be part of their meet and greet lineup at WWE World starting this week in Las Vegas. It says a lot about AAA's current momentum to have, to include AAA talent in WWE World in celebrating WrestleMania week. Now, AAA's entire show on Saturday was red hot, including the WWE Intercontinental Championship match being defended on the broadcast. You can watch AAA outside of Mexico on YouTube and Facebook. It's for free. If you're in Mexico, you can also the AAA Lucha Libre channel will have the Spanish version on YouTube. It's for free as well. If you're in Mexico, you can watch it on Fox. And meanwhile, CMLL has a new weekly television deal with Fox Sports 2. And you can already see the complications with this. AAA is already on Fox, and the two promotions are rivals. So this actually goes a little deeper. Fox Sports 2 in Mexico operates under a licensing agreement to use Fox branding, but Fox Corporation has stated that the license is invalid, and there is an active court battle over it. As you know, the official Fox Sports branding remains calling Fox Sports FS1 and FS2. And one last note, and I'm going to keep it brief because I want to talk about AEW as little as possible on this program. There's been chatter about TNA restricting their talents from working with AEW and comments about TNA wrestlers not being paid well. The reality is simple. If AEW paid their roster well enough, they wouldn't need outside bookings. So that's all I'm going to say on that. And this brings this episode to an end. I'll see you guys on Thursday. I got a jam-packed show. We're going to be talking about WrestleMania 42 predictions. We're going to be talking about the Hall of Fame, the lineup. I got a lot to say about Stephanie McMahon entering the Hall of Fame this year, and I don't want to say any more. This we have to wait until Thursday to hear my comments on Stephanie McMahon. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. Enjoy Raw.